Welcome to Xray Zero. I'm going to show you how to build a template and use it in the system. Here I am on the home page. I'm just going to log in. When I look at generators, I've got none. I have glossary, which is just a help tool. So I'm going to go into the settings, which is the gear on the top right. Go to the global values tab and scroll down to enable generators and enable search warrant, save. And now when I look at this generators drop down, I have a search warrant option, but it's grayed out. I can't click on it. So I'm going to go to the templates tab now, still in settings, select the search warrant type, and then upload a new template, but I don't have one at the moment. So I'm going to go to help. I'm going to open that as a new tab so I can keep my documentation up. And in here I'll select the templates tab, and it explains the process in brief detail. But if I scroll down a little bit, there's a table of contents. So first I'm going to select variables. And these are global variables. So I've got this global section, which has dates and times and stuff like that, which I can use in any template. And then I've got profile/agency config. So there's two sections to this. There's user data and there's agency data. The user data comes from the logged in user. So if they type in their title, like detective or officer, that's where that will come from, their name. And then under agency data, that's comes from the agency they're a part of. So the agency name or like a default title could come from there. And then there's aliases. And aliases just means you can use either or. So if I reference my badge number as badge number, I could use badge. Or if I reference my employees by an ID number like EID, I could use EID. And they're the same thing. So let's scroll back up to the table of contents and look at search warrant. And these are variables specific to the search warrant form in the application. And at the top, I see there's a download starter template. So let's grab that. And that looks like this. And it's not a very pretty search warrant, but it has a bunch of variables in it, which are the text in curly braces. Those are variables. And it gives me an idea of what the whole search warrant might look like filled up with data from the application. So let's go ahead and use that. So I'll go back to the application and upload new template and select search warrant dash starter. That's the file I just downloaded. That says it was updated. So now if we go back to generators, I can click on search warrant, and that brings me to the web form, and this is where all the work gets done. So let's put in a case number of 22-1234, file name of test search warrant. I'm actually just going to leave everything else blank and click generate down at the bottom. So I've got my test search warrant file, and that looks like this. Here's my case number filled in, 22-1234. Some of the dates got filled in, and everything else is blank, which makes sense because I didn't fill anything else in. Now this one's kind of ugly, so let's go use a different one. So here's one I started. And I'm going to leave up a couple web pages here. I'm going to leave this form up so I can test out my template, and then I'm going to leave the documentation up so that I can refer to these variables while I'm building my template. Now on the right here, I've got kind of a header, put location here, so this is kind of the target of the search warrant. Now if I look through my variables, I've got a location right here, and the variable name is location. I'm going to scroll up to the syntax section, and it tells me that I just put the variable name in curly braces, and it will insert the variable's value in its place. So what that means is, in the web form, if I go find the location box, I can type anything typed in here will show up in the location variables spot. And again, I need to put those curly braces, so I'll replace this with curly brace, no spaces, location, and then another curly brace. All right, agency name. Let's go back to profile/agency. Agency name is called agency. Same thing, curly braces, agency, case number. Let's go back to search warrant, case number CRN. Case number CRN. And then your affiant name. So I've got a deputy name of deputy and EID, or like I said, you could use an alias here, so we'll say badge number, and I'm going to put in badge instead of EID because I know that'll work. And then I want their title before their name, so we'll say curly brace title. So I've got title, deputy, badge number. So this should say something like Detective Smith, badge number 1234. Reason to believe that. So this is where our narrative would go. So I've got an affidavit, which in the web form is this big text box at the bottom. So we'll say affidavit. So that'll go there. And then I want to make a new page. So we'll go insert page break. Insert page break. And then our second page will be our items to be seized. Let's go look at our documentation again. Attachment B items is items. Now this one, the type of variable is actually a list and not just text. So let's go back up to the top and look at syntax. So for list, I've got a couple options. I've got loop over the list, or there's this dash syntax thing. So let's try the looping first. So it's a pound sign, items, and then new curly braces is just a period, and then / items. And the reason that it has to be done this way is because the text is items in the list. We can't just put the whole list on the page. We have to put each item on the page that's in that list. All right, so this looks good. And then maybe I want a footer, so I'll just click into here. Let's have a footer with a page number in it. Let's see. This one looks good. Page 1 of 2. Okay. Now I can use the variables in here as well. So I could say agency case number CRN. Let's move this thing over. Make it different color. Cool. So these variables work in the footer just like they do in the regular document. So I've got page 1 of 2, 2 of 2. Cool. All right, so I'm going to save this. And then let's go back to the application. So go home, go to application, settings, templates. And then again, I'll select search warrant, and then I'll upload this, which will overwrite whatever was there before. So my search warrant worked. And let's go back to the application. So we put a deputy name in this. We'll say Smith, badge number 91234, title detective. We put a location in there, and then let's add some blank items to be seized. So item 1, item 2, item 3, and then affidavit goes here, dot, dot, dot. All right, let's generate that. And this is using the document we just edited. Test search warrant 1. All right, so it looks like we have our location, our agency name, case number, Detective Smith, badge number 1234. Affidavit goes here. And then let's scroll down to our other page. All right, so items 1, 2, and 3 are all run together. That's pretty ugly, so let's close that, go back to our template. Let's go fix that. So now back in our documentation, in the syntax section, we have another way we can deal with lists, and that's called dash syntax. So it says loop over the list, creating a new paragraph each time for each item. So let's try that. So instead of the pound sign, it's dash W colon P space, the name of the variable, still have the period, and then slash the name of the variable. Now I know if I turn this into a bullet point, every time I press enter, it's going to create a new bullet point. So if this is going to create a new paragraph for each item in the list, it should create a new bullet point for each item. So let's try that out. I'm going to go upload that file again. I've uploaded the file, so I'm going to click generate warrant. Got number 2 here, and just like we thought, every time it created a new paragraph, it actually created a new bullet point because that's where I put the loop syntax. So that looks a lot nicer. Now there's some other stuff we can do here in the form too with checkboxes. And the checkboxes in the variables are called booleans. That's the data type. And a boolean is either true or false, or yes or no. So for my stolen or embezzled, I have stolen as the variable name. So that would be like clicking on this stolen checkbox here. Or the non-disclosure USC 2705B, that's a checkbox too. So let's play with that one first. In the syntax, we've got a couple ways to deal with booleans. We have this conditionally show stuff, or we can do this checkbox thing. So let's look at the conditional first. And that's going to go up here. So now the conditional is the pound sign, the name of the variable. Oops. That's not what I wanted. Match. There we go. And then I could just type whatever I want. So I can say, this is a non-disclosure order. And then curly braces, /, and that variable name again, curly brace, and no extra spaces in there. Oops, there we go. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to go re-upload it again. Now this time, I've checked that non-disclosure requirement box. I have this conditional inside of my document. So when I generate the warrant, number 3, I'll see that that text I put in between the curly braces for the conditional showed up. And if I didn't check that box, it wouldn't show up. So that's a nice way to control what types of text might show up in your document. Let's go look at the other one for checkboxes. So it's variable, and this is a pipe, and CB. So if I check stolen, stolen space, and then pipe is shift, and it's the backslash, which is between your backspace and enter keys, space CB, and that's it. I don't have to put another curly brace thing after it. So I could say, because this is stolen. Let's go do another one. So here's one, is illegal to possess, illegal. So is illegal to possess, all right. So illegal, space, pipe, CB, curly brace, oops, because it's illegal. All right. Now I'm going to leave that one unchecked so we can see the difference between a checked one and an unchecked one. I'm actually going to uncheck this non-disclosure requirement too, so theoretically this should disappear. I'm going to save my template, and I'm going to go re-upload it again. I've re-uploaded it, generate, we're on number 4. All right, so my non-disclosure order didn't show up, that's good. And the stolen checkbox was checked, so it's checked in here. And the illegal one was not, so it's not checked in here. And this way I can leave all the text in the document, but I can kind of show whether it's checked or not. So the last thing I'm going to show you is just how to use some of these other global variables. So if I scroll back up, I see there's dates and times. So let's see, so ordered this. Let's just get rid of this. This day. Oops. Don't edit that one. Edit this one. So ordered this. Day is the numeric day with the like ST or ND at the end. So that sounds good. So day. This like first day of, and the month is month. It's the full name of the month. And the year is the 4-digit year. Perfect. At time is now. And that's 24-hour time. So instead of this AM PM thing, I'm just going to say hours. And I guess I should put now in curly braces or it won't work. So ordered this day, day of month, year at 24-hour time hours. Okay. And I told you before the user data can come in here as well. So if this person's assigned to a certain division, we could put in their division. So we could say of the division, just for the sake of doing that. And I'm actually going to do this bold text. And I'm bolding the name of the variable as well. And that formatting will actually carry through. And in the application, if I click on my profile button, I can go fill in a division. So we'll say the awesome division. Save that. And go back to our page or our generator, and you'll see that division's not filled in. But if I go back to this, oops, if I reload this and go back to it, it automatically fills in the user's division here. And then this particular form, they could go modify this value, but it came from their profile. And I could do the same thing in the agency settings as well. I could go to global values. I could put a division of test division and save that. But when I go to the generator, it's still awesome because the user's data takes priority over the agency default data. So if I go in here and delete division, save that, go back to the search warrant, Now it went to test division because it's using the agency because of the absence of user data. So let's type in some test data, 1, 2, 3, 4, another test doc. Deputy name is Bob, 1, 2, 3, 4. Title is officer. Let's select a location. Nope, we don't have any. So Google, stolen, illegal. Let's add account number 1, 2, 3, 4 as our item to seize, affidavit stuff, and generate. Another test doc. All right, so now our test division was in bold because we bolded it in the Word document or in the template file. And we have our date and time in here, 29th day of November at 11:40.